test that.
Ooh. Hmm.
You said that everything is God, I think, and
Mm-hmm.
you kind of have a more of a literal interpretation of that. That
Mm-hmm.
everything has consciousness.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
Ooh,
Okay. Good.
that's okay.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, maybe you can elaborate a little bit. When you say everything has consciousness, does
Mm-hmm.
that does that include just kind of random like stuff like rocks and trees or yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, I think there's like the idea of, or, I'm not really well versed in animism, but because I like to consider myself an intellectual, so so I don't go for animism. Instead, I like the idea of, it's called panpsychism, which is a philosophical idea that everything has some kind of sliver of consciousness. And yeah, I mean, but in reality, I don't really understand everything when I read the articles and I study it, so I just kind of make my own interpretation. Um, but yeah, I think that everything has a sliver of conscious, especially rocks and trees. As far as inorganic materials, I don't know if that's the right word, but like, man-made things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe. Yes, probably. Yes. I'm going with yes. Yeah.
Okay. So like man-made materials, we're talking about like the printer stand sitting right next to me,
Mhm.
or the mouse or my phone, stuff like that. You were talking about.
I mean, I don't think it has any self-awareness.
Right.
I
Right.
think that it has some kind of, I don't know if you've ever had this experience. Most people who don't believe in woo haven't had this experience. But like, if you've ever touched an old building or an old tree and just kind of like felt something from it, and I feel like maybe everything absorbs some sort of energy or place mark of its place and the people who are around it who give it energy. That's not including rocks and trees. I think those are of their own consciousness. But I mean, like, especially trees, but like the energy of the surrounding things, especially the people, kind of
Hmm.
get. It's kind of a witchcraft idea. What we do is, cleanse things under full moons or new moons, and like spray it with moon water and cleanse it with fire and sage and all kinds of things, to kind of clear the energy.
Okay.
I don't have any. This is one of my more wooey beliefs. I don't really have any. I like to be able to have even at least theoretical science or philosophical concepts to back up. The closest that I get with that is panpsychism. So that, yeah, everything has a consciousness.
Okay. Hmm. You mentioned an old building, like an old building with like lots of memories. Is that
Yeah,
kind of what you were talking about? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
If there was, let's say there's an old building, and
Hmm.
then across the street perhaps there's a building that was like just constructed like yesterday. They had the grand opening and they cut the ribbon and everything, right?
Hmm.
Would one of those buildings like be more conscious than the other, or have like more energy? I think you mentioned than the other,
I mean,
or
I think it depends on the material. So if the
okay.
if the if the new building is, I mean, everything's made of something old, right? So if it's made of trees that were cut down, or bricks that were moved from someplace else, or mortar that was, from whatever they make mortar from, rocks and stuff, or if it was concrete or some kind of new man-made material, but those ones would have less.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so one material can have less and one material can have more?
probably. I mean, I don't
Okay.
know. Maybe that sounds right to me.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Is there a way that we can test that?
Ooh. Hmm. I mean, scientifically, I don't think so. I feel like there's all kinds of things ghost detectors do, right? And they
Hmm.
have all kinds of the little instruments that they say can detect different things. They detect heat, They detect sudden cold spots. They detect electricity. There's been places where, for some unknown reason, the electricity, I don't understand the science of it, but the electricity in the thing just is too high or something, right? But I think that's kind of mostly baloney. I think it's just something that people can feel. Some people can feel. It's more of a sixth sense type thing. And yeah, so that's why it's kind of more on the wooey side of my beliefs. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have nothing for that.
All right.
Give me something I can defend.
Yeah, I tend to ask some challenging questions. By the way, I really like your shirt. It's a neat shirt.
Thanks. Thanks. It's my go-to fave.
Awesome. Mhm. So, with regards to the inability to test the energy, would you, since we can't tell if one item might have more energy, more or less energy than another item or object, how can we be sure that it has this consciousness or energy at all?
We can't.
Can't. Okay.
I mean, it doesn't really matter in the long run, right? I mean, I think it only matters, like, this kind of thing matters when you have like political conversations about whether or not to tear down old buildings or monuments, or after was it the Citadel was struck by lightning? Like, how much money do you put into fixing it? Do you take down the old and put in the new? And I think a lot of people who are on the leave the old are maybe feel like I do, but I don't know that for sure. That would be more of a sociological, idea than a scientific one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good example. I like that example. It may not matter, and then I guess in that one very specific set of circumstance, perhaps it does. Perhaps. I guess my question to you, and I don't mean this in any type of negative way. So I'm just going to preface it with that.
That's fine.
Okay.
You can let her. I don't. It's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Do you value believing in things that are truthful?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I feel like there's levels, right? There's demonstrable evidence, right, which is kind of at the top. We have the things that we know for a fact are real, and then there's the things that the smart people think might be real, theoretical science, stuff like that, mathematics that give us an idea. And then below that is like, philosophical thought. And then below that is kind of like, just normal pondering. And then at the bottom is religion. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Yeah.
Okay. At this point, the conversation changed subjects, but I wish I had asked one more question, and I think I will take the time to ask it right now. Perhaps Bobbie Ray would even be kind enough to answer it in the comments section. My question is, should someone have any degree of confidence that something is true if you are unable to test it?